So game number 2 now of this best of 3. It's the quarterfinals. Habitation Station gonna be the host of this second game. And to the top left, representing Mouse Sports, the red Protoss player, HasuObs. And his opponent, who needs to win this game to force the ace and stay in with a shot to advance further in today's cup. Representing Cascade, the yellow Zerg player, HaNfy. So Habitation Station is a damn fun map. A lot of cool stuff can go on here, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna throw out. The gold bases, of course, are that tempting, risky expansion to take if you want to go for it. But HasuObs, he won game number 1 playing pretty damn standard actually, so I wouldn't be surprised just to see him play a standard game again. Not taking many big risks, just focusing on efficient scouting throughout the game. If he keeps that efficient scouting up, he'll get himself into a really good spot the longer it goes on. So it's along the line. I'm excited to see whether or not HaNfy can bring this back, because his aggressive teching in the first game could have had a nice potential if it had gone better. So if HasuObs does decide to switch out of that style of scouting religiously, we will keep an eye on things as they go. So, probe moving through at the moment, just getting that first scout down. Gonna see that it's an early gas and pull coming down from HaNfy. He may be playing a bit safe, but it could also be very aggressive. No quick way to tell that until we get a little bit later on. Probe checking round at the moment, sees, okay, everything that he wants, knows that the pressure could be coming, adds in the cybernetics core at the front, leaves a small gap for a zealot to fill the wall off if required, but most importantly, just not playing anything too risky, not throwing down that nexus as of yet. Probe confirms there's no natural base. With 2 lings and the queen on its way, we're really interested to see what's happening. 100 gas, speed started, drones pulled out. Could be a lot of speedling pressure coming through, especially with no natural yet. HaNfy probably going to go and take that gold base as the drone wanders on over there. And this is a risk. The gold base certainly does have a big reward to it, but against Protoss, this ramp is a lot more narrow. Force fields can wall it off pretty easy. I'm fairly sure 2 force fields wall it off. Not 100%, I'm doubting myself a bit, but 2, if not definitely 3, even weakly placed force fields will stop that. HasuObs, he's got the same idea though. He wanted to take the gold base. Unfortunately, a handful of lings are saying, oh no you don't. Probe trying to escape the mothership core, protecting that little probe, and HasuObs takes his natural instead, just at the blue base, keeping things going steady. HaNfy's gold base though, that's half done. He's going to be looking to really utilize that well. He's got speedlings down the map, he's adding in a lot more drones at the moment, so this isn't hyper aggressive for the moment. He does still have a decent number of lings out, 10 in total. Needs to achieve something with that if I'm honest, because if he doesn't, he's going to be running into quite a few problems. In terms of the later stages, he's invested a lot in this, but in come the speedlings now. The Zealot is on a hold command, going to be able to hold these off for a bit, and the lings instead gunning towards that forge. With the sentry coming in though, should be able to save it. There's not really enough lings here to keep the pressure up if a force field is thrown down, but HasuObs deciding not to go for that, instead retreating back. But there's a gap! The sentry's gonna take a lot of damage. If that falls, it's a big loss. The Zealot trapped outside. It may have killed quite a few of the lings. A probe and a sentry though, for those Zerglings is definitely worthwhile. A few more probes getting taken down as well now. Lost mining time as those probes pulled back in order to try and defend. All in all, quite frustrating. That little run by, really nice out of HaNfy, our Zerg player. Gets another probe as well. This is just being really, really effective. And maybe wondering why didn't the Zealot chase? It's because it wouldn't catch up and needs to be on sentry duty after the natural wall off, just to complete that, preventing any more speedlings from coming through. Third base now getting taken at the natural of HaNfy, who's busily mining out of that gold, really spiking his mineral income. He takes a small lead early game, ahead in the work account now with that gold base, and having done a bit of damage. It's may not have been a tremendous amount, but it's the rattle factor as I like to think of it. It's taken HasuObs and may not have beat him down, but it was just a little nudge. I'm like, if you take any risks, I'm going to get you. If you make any little slip-ups, I'm going to sneak on by. It's enough to be threatening. So, HasuObs, what's his plan? Well, earlier robo facility than last game. It won't get scouted by this Overlord, as these sentries do a great job of denying HaNfy the scout. Also worth noting, Mothership Core has gone on a little adventure. Met a queen. Queens beat motherships every day of the week, so that Mothership Core gonna just go and sneak around, just trying to identify some scouting information. Similar to game number 1, we're getting the double evolution chambers down before the lair for HaNfy. Probably going to go for the +1 melee attack again, I'd imagine. And indeed we do go. So, a heavy commitment into speedlings, and we've got a lot of them on the field at the moment, sitting at 23. However, there's 3 sentries at the front of this wall. There's the Zealot blocking it off. That's a heck of a lot of force fields, and not enough Zerglings to punch through there at the moment. So, these are being more defensive in case a push were to come out, and it certainly looks like a push could be on the cards. We've got now 3 additional gates taking us up to 5. With the second Immortal coming in, this suddenly appears to be an Immortal Sentry push. Due to the delay of the the third base from HaNfy due to his aggressive opening, he's not in the greatest spot to defend this, but likewise, this push is hitting relatively late, but it's going to be hitting hard. Now 5 additional gates, taking us to 7 gates ready for this push. A very big commitment from HasuObs, who wants to get this second win. Wants to advance into the semi-finals of this first ESL Pro Series Cup of the summer season. Is HaNfy going to be able to hold it off? His lair, not quite done, but he does have a Roach Warren. Although, with only the Carapace upgrade affecting those Roaches, they're more of a buffer for damage. More units getting warped in, more sentries on their way. A 4th Immortal coming in. So this is a much later push. It's not the 2 Immortal push you often see. 4 Immortals and a Warp Prism means that when this hits, it's gonna be like a freight train going down a hill powered by a nuclear reactor. This is an incredibly strong, hard-hitting push. But due to the 1-1 melee attack and the little lings, these Immortals aren't that useful up against Zerglings. Sure, they would decimate Roaches, any that stood in their way. But HaNfy, pretty much purely Zerglings at the moment. Sees this push coming out now, and this should be where unit production starts. He's got 15 lava. He just needs to make stuff, and a lot of it. Swarm hosts are an interesting decision because they take 40 seconds to produce, and even then, at only 4 of them on the field, it isn't very scary. More unit warp-ins coming in, and HasuObs is up by 10 army supply, but he's got a lot of sentries, a lot of force fields, but he's also getting counter-attack. Defensive warpings coming back at home, a double cannon in position. Of course, that Warlock also secured by more pylons. The Zealot frantically trying to get more done here, while HasuObs pushes in. That means as this engagement comes through, he gets a nice bit of damage, takes out a lot of the lings, calls in more warpings. Emergency reinforcements coming through, and well, this is a very interesting situation. HasuObs continuing to move forward, getting more damage done as it stands, and this is looking quite rough. The Mothership Core will die, but both of those queens also falling. The Swarm Hosts, there are now 3 of them on the field, and unfortunately... Oh no, wait, there is an Observer. So the Swarm Hosts can be revealed. I thought that was missing, but all looking good. HasuObs forcing the drone pull. The Swarm Hosts coming down, but they get taken out near instantly, leaving only 4 at the back with the double force fields. That's going to zone out any of the Locusts from being able to make their way through. The Immortals making very short work of those Spine Crawlers, and with the force fields, HasuObs continues to power through, heading straight towards the Natural. Going to be taking out that Natural base, clipping some of those Locusts as they pop through. And well, these Locusts, the Broodlings, they've got a tough time. HaNfy losing his Natural. He's down by, 8 workers. He's also down by a heck of a lot of supply. With 3 comes HasuObs. He's in the main base now. He can mass force field off that Natural ramp. Will be able to take down the macro Hatchery. Will be able to take down that lair. And while there are more Swarm Hosts coming, HasuObs is looking to be in a very strong position here. Moves forward, takes down another Swarm Host, expensive units, and HaNfy If he was able to get more of those swarm hosts down quicker, may have been in a stronger spot to defend this without the splash damage for HasuObs. But just losing these units, about to lose his lair, his spawning pool going down too. This is a strong position for HasuObs, who behind it is teching up into those Colossi in case there was a serious threat coming from the swarm hosts. HaNfy, up at 5 swarm hosts, that's not really the critical mass of sort of 8, 10 plus you need to really be threatening. So HasuObs takes down a lot more drones. It's unfortunate to say, but at 4 times the supply, it's gonna be definitely GG here. HasuObs, it's a matter of time for him. He's gonna get this 2-0 win. HaNfy, he played a really good game. The decision of going with swarm hosts would have been fantastic if he had another minute or so to get them out, to get them in position, but just isn't going to be enough. Also want to touch on the fact that these sentries just sitting here force building off the ramp relentlessly means that no Locust could get up or anything to risk that. GG is called, and HasuObs will take this series 2-0.